The New York Yankees season is officially over. The Houston Astros swept the Yankees in the American League Championship Series 4 games to none. Wasn't a good series for Yankees fans. Just didn't go well. And it wasn't a total blowout, right? Like there were close games. Uh, but at the end of the day, didn't ever feel like the Yankees maybe kind of they didn't really feel like they had that extra push to beat the Astros in a couple games and force the series to at least go long. So I'm here with John. We're gonna talk about it. My name is Derek. So let's get straight into it. You're watching Beach Brawls, and yeah, this is the death of the Yankees. So obviously, it's not what Yankees fans want. I know John's, wishes the Yankees would have gone, won a World Series, whatever, all that good stuff. Um, but first thing I want to do before we even talk about this Astro series, the season as a whole, it's gonna be seen as a failure, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. Haven't took it too well. I really thought the Yankees were, I didn't expect a sweep, like if they lost, if losing was gonna hurt no matter what. But getting swept is just it's rough. So in that sense, you do have to look at this season as a failure. I do think the Yankees, like my expectations for the season. I came in kind of thinking, wow, they might be the fourth place team in the AL East. Like they might not even make the playoffs. And they ended up being the second best team in the AL. And I think that's just there were times throughout the season where I thought they were the best team in the AL, and when it came down to it, Houston was just better. So in that sense, like I think they finished the season where they belong. They were better than everybody else but the Astros, but it's still a failure. I think the sweep just absolutely makes it a failure.
Yeah, and it's rough too. And like I always say, like the playoffs can be tough. Like you're gonna have to, if you want to win the World Series, you have to go through the best teams. Or at least that's the expectation, right? And the Yankees went up against a team in Houston, which they are, the best team of the American League. They won the American League Championship Series. I think that's fair to say. Um, so it's tough. Obviously, sweeps suck. I mean, it's like you go into a series with high hopes, and then your hopes get dashed quick, and it's like a quick death. It's a quick death. Sometimes you want to have a little bit of hope, and you know, uh, and even though I'm not a Yankees fan, like I kind of see what's going around Yankees Twitter, and I could tell like Yankees fans aren't taking this well because they want to beat Houston. Houston has knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs 4 times now since 2015, 2015, 2017, 2019, and now 2022. And I know in 2018 and 2021, it was the Red Sox. In 2020, it was the Rays. It's just like the Yankees want to get over that hump, right? And it felt like I know earlier in the year it felt like this is the year. Judge is going crazy. This team's playing amazing. This is gonna be the year, and it just didn't really pan out. And sometimes it happens, right? Sometimes things just don't pan out. But you would have hoped for a heck of a lot more if you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, it just ended. It was pretty rough. Like you said, we have not been taking it well. We really haven't been. It was crushing. It's been a string of losses to teams you just don't like, which makes it even harder. Like, no, again, no loss is easy, but you're losing to teams
Yeah.
you just absolutely hate, and it's been rough. It's just been a rough couple of years, and I don't know. I'm in such a bad state. I can't fully assess like the future. So it's just you're just stuck in this moment of like I can't believe we did it again, and now or we lost. I can't believe we lost again, and now to make it even worse, it's like it's Houston who you hate and Philly who you really don't like, ranging any Yankees fan, you either don't like Philly to the extreme of where you absolutely despise Philly. They have four very hateable sports teams. I personally don't have much of an issue with the Phillies. They're the team out of Philly I hate the least. Really, 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 really hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Strong dislike against the 76ers and the Flyers. So, but because of that hatred of the Eagles, like I know if Philly wins, Eagles fans are happy, and I hate that. if Houston wins, Astros fans, these fake Astros fans that when I first met my wife and started coming to Texas and meeting her family and all this,
They weren't
all
there.
these Astros fans were Rangers fans. And I know for a fact, people telling me, oh, I'm rooting for the Astros, I'm an Astros fan. I know people that were saying the same thing about the Rangers years ago. I hate this situation. Like, I guess at the end of the day, because I went to a game when I was a kid at the old Veterans Stadium. I have family that are Phillies fans, like that are also Eagles fans, unfortunately. Maybe I guess I want to see Philly win because it doesn't affect me as much as seeing these fake Astros fans win. But it's bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
The only thing worse could be like if it were the Mets and the whatever that team from Houston that I hate. So yeah,
No, like
it's horrible.
I kind of feel how you feel, right? Like I don't like Houston, even though I'm not testing. I don't like Houston. I don't like Philly, and I'm just like, I guess I'm rooting for Christian Vasquez. I guess like I'm
yeah,
not rooting for
no,
the Astros. I'm rooting for Christian Vasquez.
the
Just
Astros really did it to themselves because there was a time when they could have been a likable team. And
yeah,
honestly, I actually like those years with Bagwell and Biggio. There were these two like guys from like Connecticut, and I can't remember if Bagwell's Connecticut. I can't remember if Biggio was from New Jersey or Long Island, but he's over there. And they're local guys playing down there. I like thought Houston was like an all right team. I didn't hate them. I hate them now.
yeah. Yeah, and I think the whole cheating scandal goes to that. But I do want to get a little bit into this series a little bit against Houston. Obviously, we'll cover some of the bigger moments, in a second. But just we'll cover this overall, and I do want to put this out there. I think the Cleveland series going 5 games hurt the Yankees more than people thought it would, because you don't get Garrett Cole until game 3. You don't get Nestor Cortez until game 4. And so it's your two best starting pitchers cannot pitch games 1 and 2 in Houston. And even if you did go and say, oh, Garrett Cole postseason struggles, which they are overblown, and I said this I think last time we were on, it's not really that he always struggles in the postseason. He normally pitches well, but he'll have like a game where he just blows up.
And he pitched well this postseason. I
Yeah,
have no complaints
exactly.
with Garrett Cole.
Yeah, he in his postseason career, he hasn't been bad. He'll pitch well, but then he has like 1 or 2 games where he's just struggled. But besides that, like he's been solid in the postseason. So that is that whole scenario. That's all overblown. But I think that Cleveland series going along really hurt the Yankees coming into this Houston series. They had no rest. The rainouts in that Cleveland series hurt them. Not having any rest, having to go straight to Houston. It did not fall in the Yankees' favor at all. That Cleveland series going 5 games.
No, that was just horrible. The whole thing was horrible. There was too much time off between the end of the season and game 1 of that series. And then, like you said, they're playing 1 game or 2 games and taking a day off when they don't need to take a day off or whatever, however it played out, or played 1 game and then took it, whatever. The whole scheduling was terrible. Major League Baseball, like you said, needs to take. You mentioned the rainouts. Major League Baseball needs to take these rainouts into account. Just schedule the games one after another because the games are going to get rained out, or do something smarter.
Well,
like,
they're also trying to squeeze them all in because of the lockout and the season starting late. They're trying to squeeze everything in.
Yeah, I mean, well, that too. So yeah, this whole thing is it's just Major League Baseball's full of idiots, and I don't know. I think maybe they should hire the Bleacher Brawls crew to run things for a little while.
I think next year it'll be a little bit better just because season will start a little bit earlier. Definitely will start earlier because of the lockout, making the season start a week late. Now you won't also have that extra like 3 games at the end of the season as well. I think they'll be able to spread it out a tiny bit more in the postseason now, because the championship series there wasn't going to be any travel days between games 5 and 6 like there normally was. So if these series went to game 7, there would be 5 games in 5 days, games 3 through 7. So they're really like pushing stuff close. I know obviously now they could pull the World Series up, but they're not going to do that. The date set. But like the scheduling, especially with the rainouts, killed the Yankees. Houston, they had it perfect getting the Mariners in terms of rainouts because both have retractable roofs. Houston and Seattle, they both have a retractable roof, so you don't have to worry about rain or any weather. Just play. Like close the roof. You'll be fine. And I think it's fine. Obviously, Now heading into this Astros series, I think that the Yankees, you could kind of see that Cleveland series might have weighed on them a little bit. Not necessarily weighed on them in terms of made them and like fatigue wise, but like you could tell like maybe it's like, hey, they just need a break. Like the Houston got a couple of days off, especially after their 18 inning game. The Yankees, it was like game. They didn't have much rest from game. You have game 4, then you're getting ready for game 5, and then you have all your pregame preparations. Then it gets rained out. Then you get game 5 the next day. Then you get game 1, game 2, and it's like that's all. Even like the games that get rained out, you still have all your pregame preparations that you have to do for that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. It throws them off their routine, and it hurts them, and I think it makes them cold. But at the end of the day, it's the playoffs,
Yeah.
and you have to fight through that. You have to be tougher than that. You have to just deal with it and go out there and win. And this team did. Like, I guess it's time to get into that because this team went out there and they didn't even compete. And
yeah. Well, I do want to start on a positive note, though. I want to start on a positive note first, though. Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader was tremendous this postseason. I know he had the drop fly ball that Judge ran in front of him, but whether you want to credit that to Bader or Judge, regardless, Bader at the plate was amazing, and he did bring steady defense to center field as well. Probably actually even more than steady defense in center field, and he was amazing at the plate. 5 home runs in the postseason. He was massive for the Yankees. You could make the argument without Bader, they don't even get to the Houston series.
Yeah, he was the postseason MVP for this team. He was like he showed up, and to an extent, Giancarlo Stanton showed up, and that was it out of that lineup. So it was great to see Harrison Bader come through. Really showed that the Yankees made a good move in the Montgomery deal. He wasn't coming back. I don't think they're bringing him back anyway. I believe he's a free agent. Or it's not. Yeah, he finished his last year of arbitration, so he's definitely a free agent. Like he wasn't coming. The Yankees weren't resigning him anyway. It was a smart move. And Harrison Bader was the MVP for the Yankees to get them to where they are. I mentioned Stanton showing up a little bit, which is good. And then the rest of the lineup just failed.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I know Rizzo had like a solid game 4, the Astros series, but it just felt like one night you might get some contributions from one guy, and then the next night that guy's not there, but then it's almost like and it's like Bader was hot, Stanton was mostly hot, right? And then there just wasn't enough guys. Maybe a third guy would get hot, but couldn't sustain being hot, right? They'd have like a solid game, but then the next game they'd struggle. And Boone changing the lineup around a lot especially in the postseason. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know if that does. But playing Peraza at short, you're playing kind of Falefa, you're playing Cabrera at short. Like I felt like there was almost at times there could have been too many moving pieces. But at the end of the day, the big guys didn't move. The Judge, Rizzo, you can even throw Donaldson in that conversation. Those guys didn't really move around in the line. Gleyber Torres, like they didn't move in the lineup, and they overall didn't produce enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like again, like they've been moving the lineup all season, so they should be used to that. Like you said, these main guys stay in the same position for the most part all season. That's true too. They did that in the postseason. The other guys moving around in the lineup, that's just the way they do things with the Yankees. They're trying to prove to everybody that they're the smartest person in the room. And just go out there and play baseball. Play like there's just have a feel for the game. Like just take it beyond just like whatever like the analytics team is telling you to do. I don't know about the moves. Like Donaldson just sucked, man. Like Donaldson was so horrible. I thought Isaiah kind of Falefa getting scapegoated. I realized, okay, he had he did it defensively. He did not look good for a minute there. I felt he kind of got scapegoated because he is a bottom of the lineup guy who's not really expected to do much. And he, for what it's worth, does hit the contact, which Donaldson was just up there striking out. I think the Yankees could have reworked that where you have between Peraza, Cabrera, and Kiner Falefa, because obviously, as you know, Kiner Falefa played third base in Texas. Between those 3 guys, Yeah, exactly. And you can be those you could use those three guys between shortstop, third base, if necessary, left field. And you can take Donaldson out of lineup and give him a rest because he was lost at the plate. And for all the moves they're making, like it seemed like they're missing the simple moves and the clear and obvious moves. So I don't know if you're blaming Aaron Boone for over managing. I don't know if he's being instructed by Cashman and his team to manage the way he does.
The
I
analytics
don't
department,
know.
maybe. Like
Yeah,
no one knows.
yeah, no one knows. And so someone's like, we're all out here, we're blaming somebody. I personally blame Brian Cashman. Some people blame Aaron Boone. I don't know. It
Like
was a
yeah,
disaster, and this like they overmanaged when in all that overmanaging, they weren't making the moves they needed to make.
yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, and it's you have to press the right buttons at the right time, right? And I think that's the big thing. It's not just pressing the right buttons, you have to also do it at the right time. Or sometimes you can press it at the right time, but it's the wrong button. So that's the big thing, and especially when it comes to the postseason, you have to nail it. It's either there's not in a postseason, most moves in the postseason that you make aren't just gonna be like meh moves. Like they're either gonna work out or they're not gonna work out. Like that's normally how it ends up panning out in the postseason. And I know kind of Fluffa. I think he might have had some kind of arm thing going on or shoulder something because it seemed like his arm velocity was down from short, and I know he bounced a couple throws, so maybe there's something there. I mean, who knows? If there was something there, maybe that should have been looked at more, maybe if there was. I don't know if there was or not, but did seem like his velocity on his throws was down a little bit. And I know it was mentioned one of the broadcasts. I think it was maybe game 1 or 2. No, it might have been the ALDS when it was mentioned. Maybe that's why he wasn't playing. Who knows? But yeah, it does bring up some questions for next year. We're not going to get into that now. That we'll cover that either next week or the week after. We'll get into that a little bit later. But one person I do want to bring up, Aaron Judge. Not even like we're not even going to talk about the free agency. Just want to talk about his postseason because it was underwhelming for sure.
The Yankees could only win when Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. When Aaron Judge goes cold, which has happened it happened for like a month early in the regular season, and then it happened in the postseason. This is what the Yankees are. They're not a very good team. Or at least I shouldn't say that because they did beat Cleveland with Aaron Judge basically being ice cold, and Cleveland's a good team, but they couldn't really hang with Houston without Aaron Judge being Aaron Judge. I had all this faith in Aaron Judge that he was going to go out there and get his revenge. He obviously felt slighted. I know he's got issues with Houston, like when he hit that game winning home run, like or whatever it was, motioning to his jersey, and I thought he was going to come with a vengeance, and he didn't. So it was just strikeouts, being lost at the plate. Just he wasn't Aaron Judge, and even then, and you mentioned earlier the Bader Judge play. That's technically that's Bader's ball. I think you can say, well, it's a short right field. You can give Aaron Judge more room. He's like the captain of the team. Okay, maybe I don't know. It was just
There's
not
got to be
head.
better communication there.
And that's exactly, and that's not Aaron Judge. Like that's not who Aaron Judge is. He's always, you see him. He calls plays. He calls guys
Yeah.
off. Like you see him like joking with guys in the outfield. He'll back off, and you see him make a joke. He knows what he's doing, and for that to not happen, it's just I know it's one play, but it's just really I think it's a good example of Aaron Judge not being Aaron Judge. Like he bet on himself this year. He handled pressure better than any athlete I'd ever seen during the regular season, and for whatever reason, the postseason that just changed. And
Yeah. It could be
I
the
don't know.
environment around the team though. Could be something with that because because obviously in New York and same thing happens in Boston. When the postseason comes around, the pressure just gets ticked up by about 100, right? And not saying the pressure is getting to Judge, but some players feel it. Maybe it's a thing where Aaron Boone's feeling it, and something's behind the scenes look a little bit different, or I don't know, but maybe could be something to that. It's all that's speculation, obviously, but it was clear something wasn't right. Whether it was just something it was just a little off, and in the postseason when you're a little off, it doesn't look good because you're facing the best teams, the best pitchers, the best players. Like it's not normally going to go well.
No, and that's it. Only one team wins. There's
Yeah,
30 teams, one team wins. So, it's not going to go right for 29 other teams. And just like you said, everything has to click. Everyone has to get, you have to be hot at the right time. You have to be in the right mental state at the right time. You have to have everybody healthy at the right time. And that wasn't the case for the Yankees this year. I do want to mention the pitching being pretty good. I thought the pitching really stepped up. I know they didn't win, but like there was no blowouts.
yeah,
There were close games. And the pitching staff for the most kept the Yankees were in every game. There wasn't really a situation where you felt they weren't in the game.
yeah.
And you got to give credit to the pitching staff for that. The lineup needs to put you over the top, but the pitching staff put them in a position to hang. And
Yep. That's all you can
I
ask
got
for.
credit to all that, every guy on that and on that pitching staff, starting rotation and bullpen.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for, really. Cole, I know Cortez had the injury in game 4, but he was good in the division
Yeah,
series, which it's unfortunate, right? There's nothing you can really do.
yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, Cole was good. One guy was really good, Wandy Peralta, stellar, especially the division series.
Yeah, he was really pitched like that all season long. He was a real under the radar guy.
Yep.
He wasn't the closer, he's kind of normally the 8th inning guy. So he didn't really get like the same amount of attention. He isn't a blow you away stuff. He was just getting guys out. He really was good, and he really was really good in this series and pitching every day. I think, it wasn't something you wanted to see. It had to happen, but it wasn't something you want to see in the ALDS. So
Yeah. And
again,
another
he did pitch well.
yeah. Another guy stepped out, Jonathan Weiziga. I know you know how I said it. I wish he wasn't on the Yankees because I love him as a pitcher. Hate that he's on the Yankees. But he pitched very well in the postseason. It seemed like the Yankees bullpen for the most part stepped up when there were question marks as Clay Holmes wasn't the same Clay Holmes we saw in the first half of the season. Michael King's been out, and I think we both said this time and time again. That's such an underrated guy to go down. He was massive for that Yankees bullpen. And it's not only them. There are a couple other guys in there as well, but overall, it was the big question mark heading into the postseason for the Yankees. Wasn't the offense, wasn't the starters, it was the bullpen. But the bullpen did step up, so they're at least, hey, positive note there. Good job for the Yankees bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was, like you said, is the biggest question mark. That was part going into the season into the playoffs. I thought the starting rotation could hold up. I thought the lineup was going to be able to hold up. I thought Aaron Judge was going to be Aaron Judge. And I'm like, geez, I hope this bullpen can keep us in the game or not blow leads. And, they did what they really stepped up and did a lot better than I expected. The lineup, again, disappointed me. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. No, that's a lie. I'm seriously so mad.
I don't blame. Hey, I don't blame you. I would be too. I'd definitely be upset. Before we wrap this thing up, though, obviously we have a World Series coming up. We will have a World Series preview video up on Thursday. So tomorrow, when this video goes up, it'll be tomorrow. This video's going up Wednesday. I'm gonna ask you, John. I'm not gonna give my prediction because I'm doing that video, but you're not on that video, so I want to ask you. Who do you think's gonna win? Not asking for games or whatever. Just who do you think's gonna win?
I want them both to lose so bad. I mean, I don't know. Like Houston's the better team, but I can't pick Houston, so I'll pick Philly. The Phillies win. Congrats. Good. It was just good for my cousin Sam, who did a lot of the early artwork for Bleacher Brawls before we met Alvaro, or I met Alvaro. So yeah, whatever. Good for what I hope I hope my cousin Sam, my cousin Mel, and my uncle Jeff and Aunt Marion, I hope they're happy. All right. I love you guys. I hope you're happy. And I hope everybody around here that says they're an Astros fan is as unhappy as they can possibly be, considering they're not real fans. So right. Phil, to answer that question, Phillies win the World Series.
Yep. All right. So that's a great place to wrap up. We will have a Yankees offseason look ahead either next week or the week after. If the World Series ends early, we will have a full MLB season recap next week, and we'll push the Yankees video back a week. If the World Series goes long, goes 5, 6 games, goes past next week and into the week after, we will have a Yankees offseason recap. We'll be looking at Aaron Boone, Aaron Judge, all the other pending free agents, bunch of other stuff, Cashman. We're gonna cover it all. Thoughts on it? I know I have some thoughts. I know John definitely has some thoughts as the resident Yankees fan here on the Yankees Weekly Show. So we'll have our thoughts. We might have different thoughts, might have similar thoughts. We'll get all into that either next week or the week after. So keep an eye out for that. That's a great place to wrap it up. Make sure to check out all the links in the description. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post. For John and Derek, thanks for tuning in to the death of the Yankees here on Bleacher Brawls, and we'll see you next time.